This is the #1 podcast whether you're looking to flip, wholesale, or buy rentals. Here at Future Flipper, we transform lives through real estate investing. And now, your host, Brian Davila.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Future Flipper podcast. I am your favorite real estate investor, Brian Davila, and we are going to have a great episode today. We're going to talk about flipping and wholesaling nationwide with Jeremy and Josh. It's going to be a great episode, but before we get to them, we have a big announcement. So Future Flipper is having an event September 26th through the 28th. Alex and Layla Hermosi are going to be speaking at this event. Ryan Pineda, a whole bunch of real estate giants, and you don't want to miss it. So it's in Las Vegas, September 28th. September 26th through the 28th. You can go to futureflipper.com and buy a ticket. You could use the promo code Brian, and you will get a discount. But our guests today have closed about 400 real estate transactions. They are flipping, wholesaling. They have a multi-million-dollar rental portfolio. So I know you guys are going to learn a lot. So let's get into it. How are you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing great, man. First, we want to just say thank you so much for having us and being able to share our story with your audience.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having us on. Super excited to be on. Love what you guys are doing.
For sure. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And hopefully you guys come to the event, but we'll talk about that later. But all right. So for people who aren't too familiar with you guys, like, can you give a quick story on how you got into real estate?
Got you. So Joshua and Jeremy Mathis, we're based in Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale. And we've been doing real estate now for 6 years. As you said, we've done well over 400 plus transactions. And we started, like I said, 6 years ago. So we started out, we had a cleaning company. And this guy was about to have a kid, and he said, man, I can't continue to work all these hours and make the little bit of money we're making. We have to make a change. So we put the cleaning company on the market for it to be sold. And while it was on the market and we were entertaining buyers, we hired our first mentor. We spent $55,000 and we learned nothing. So for us, and we put all that on the credit card. Yeah. So we put $55,000 on the credit card to go out and learn. We learned nothing. And then we talked to a couple people. They introduced us to another mentor. We paid him about $15,000. So before we ever do a real estate deal, we're $70,000 in debt. And at that point, we can either fold or we can be great entrepreneurs and turn a negative into a positive. And that's exactly what we did. So $70,000 in debt. We learned how to wholesale. We start wholesaling year 1. Then year 2, we start fixing and flipping. Year 3, we start adding to the rental portfolio. Year 4, we did a ground up development project. And then year 5 is just scaling and working and putting everything together.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And then you guys now are like nationwide flipping and wholesaling. So I want to touch on that a little bit later. But I guess, like, what happened with the first mentor that you paid, and what did you learn from that experience?
What happened was, I don't want to say we got scammed. It was just more so they didn't overpromise and didn't deliver at all. So we were young, we were naive. We went to this event. You know, they teach you how to increase your credit limit, then go to the back of the car, and swipe your credit cards at the back of the room. Once we did that, we was like, man, you know what? We made a big mistake. And the mistake that we made was we didn't properly vet the mentor. You know, I'm not even going to blame the mentor or the people who we signed up with. I'm going to blame us because we didn't vet them. We didn't get receipts. Yeah. So long story short, that relationship didn't work out at all. And then when we hired the next mentor, that's when things began to take off for us.
So they basically answered the question. They got our money. And they sent us a whole bunch of paperwork, but it wasn't what you would think you would get for $55,000. It was just, here's all the documents, read it, learn yourself. And if you guys want, you guys can hire you can pay more money. You can get a one-on-one coach. So yeah, that's what happened with that first mentor.
$50,000.
55,000, not 50, 55,000.
Jeez.
At that time when you're struggling, you got your company on the market, and mind you, we had put our company on the market, and our company was essentially, our cleaning company at the time was running itself. But because we wasn't paying attention to it, and we were horrible leaders at the time, we were losing accounts. Things wasn't going well. So the valuation of the company was dropping while we're trying to figure out this real estate thing. It was a big mess.
Dang. All right. So how old were you guys when this was going on?
23 or 24.
You young
23,
guys.
24. Yes.
Yep. Trying to figure it out.
Okay, and then you paid the second mentor. Things started to get. I'm guessing you started to get more knowledge, more support, and like, did you guys start flipping or wholesaling, or what was like your guys' first deal?
For us, we started wholesale, and we were strictly wholesaling. And then the guy who taught us how to wholesale, we were wholesaling off of the MLS. So it wasn't direct to seller like what a lot of people are teaching today. It was going on the MLS, getting the property under contract, and selling it to an end buyer. So our first like 30 deals were off the MLS.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
More than that. Our first probably like 50, 60 deals were off the MLS.
And then how much did you guys usually make on these deals?
Now so this was 2016, 2017. So you could still go on the MLS and be able to find deals. Our average back then was like 25,000. Our very first deal was 19. Yeah, our very first deal 19,500. Our next deal was 17,500. So our first two deals were good pops.
And I guess like what happened to you guys like mentally and like emotionally when you first started like seeing those real estate checks come in?
We called the broker. We got that first check, 19,500. We called the broker the next week.
The business broker.
The business broker that was selling our cleaning company. Bro, you got 1 week to sell this company, and if you don't, we're shutting it down. That's all. That was enough.
Oh, really?
We made more. Yeah, we made more on that first deal than we were taking home per month in the cleaning company. Once we saw that it was real, because it took us 3 months of like everyday grinding to try to get that first deal under contract, and then another month to actually get the check. So 4 months in of us grinding, we finally got that check. Once we got that check and we saw that the proof was, that is real, at that point became, okay, we want to focus strictly on wholesale, forget everything else.
Yeah, I had the same moment where I had 2 jobs. Once I think sold my first house, I quit. I didn't put my 2 weeks in. I was like, I'm done. This is it. Like, I understand now how much money I could make. It was only like a $3,000 or $4,000 check, but I understood. I'm like, okay, like I could keep pulling this slot machine as much as I want. But it was a realtor deal.
Okay, I was going to ask you that.
No. I started off as like a realtor. Yeah, I started off as a realtor. So, but it took me more than a year to ever get a paycheck more than $10,000. That to me, that was always like, man, if I could just get a paycheck more than $10,000, like, woo, I am gonna be killing it.
But
you guys came out hot.
Oh no, we came out very fortunate. But the biggest thing, what you just said though, it just shows growth. Because back then, 10,000 was like, oh my God, let me get that first 10,000. Now is you get a 10,000 check, like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's okay. So you just see the evolution.
100%. I found $10,000 in checks today that I didn't cash, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I didn't know I had this, but all right. Now
that's a great feeling.
I'm really focused on, now I'm focused on like a quarter check, $250,000 check.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm shooting for, like minimum.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm doing, but that's what that's like my next target.
Yeah.
And it's important to have goals, and it's important to have targets. And as you grow in life, you start reflecting and saying, like how we just had the conversation where, man, we could just make 10,000. Then it's just, I just want to make 25,000. Then it's 50,000. Then you do a 6-figure check, and then it's a 7-figure check. So it just continues to grow as you grow.
Okay. And then before you guys started making these checks, right? Could you put yourself back there mentally?
Yep.
Did you guys have times where you felt like giving up or any struggles between you guys about moving forward with real estate?
Even at this point, you have those moments where it's just there's a lot going on at one time, and you just like, fuck, for maybe a split second. You have that moment where you say, man, maybe I want to quit. But to answer your question, when we first started, we had several days where you think about it, and we were hustling, calling every day, 20, 30 offers a day, and nothing is coming from that.
For 3 months straight.
3 months straight. I'm talking about 60, 70, 80 plus hour weeks, and still running a cleaning company at the same time. So we had several of those moments where we wanted to give up, but thank God that we had him, and then we had each other to lean on.
I don't think it was him. I don't think it was each other. I think it was, we got $70,000 hanging over our head. We gotta make this work. So for us, we backed ourselves into a corner where we had no choice but for it to make it work. Even though we had those days where it's like, man, damn, is this really real? Because going back, like you said, mentally, until you get that first check, you're asking yourself, are these people on Instagram really real? Is what they're saying really real? Until you get that first check, you don't know. But for us, luckily, we had that 70,000 over our head where we had to get out of debt. So it was no way around it. We had to make it work. It had to work, or it had to work.
Yep. Yeah. That's why I quit my job when I made that like first small paycheck, because I was like, all right, like not only do I believe, but now there's no more excuses, because I quit my job. I don't have anything to do all day. So now I have to work on real estate to figure this out. So I knew if I spent the time, I would figure it out. And I guess like after you guys closed those first 40, 50 deals from the MLS, what did you guys start doing next?
So when we had started to see the MLS was slowing down, and it was the next thing that we thought about was, do we cold call or do we go online? Everybody was cold call back what 2017. Everybody was you should be cold calling. RVM. Yeah, that's what everybody was preaching, and he wanted to do cold call. And at that point, it was like, no, I want to go online. I said the future is online. We need to be online. We went back and forth for a couple months, and then me being the dominant twin that I am, the best twin, I told him, I said, I finally got him. I finally convinced him for us to go online. And since we went online in 2017, 2018, we haven't turned back since.
Damn. So your whole business is PPC SEO?
Right now, we started doing PPC. We did PPC for a year and a half, and then we started doing cold calling. We were doing cold calling up until literally a month and a half ago. A month and a half ago, we made a conscious decision, because we generate so many leads. Our team, our acquisitions team, is coming to us like, guys, these cold call leads are not a waste of time, but they're a waste of time, because these PPC leads, when they call in, they're ready to sell. With these cold call leads, we got to nurture them. Like, can we just do everything? Can we just do all PPC? So a month ago, we made a decision as a business. We want to be an inbound only company. So right now we're doing PPC, but in the next 60 days, we're going to start doing TV. And then next year, we're going to go to radio and also mail to focus on only inbound.
I guess. Okay. So let's fast forward. Like, what does your team and business look like today?
So it's us two. Then we have two acquisition agents. We have a follow-up specialist. We have two people on dispo. We have a transaction coordinator, and then we have a few virtual assistants that do a number of different things for us.
Dang, so you got a whole, and then like how many deals are you guys doing? Like, let's just say this year.
Right now we're averaging between 7 to 10 right now. So when we went nationwide at the beginning of this year, and we're still going through those struggles, because prior to this year we were doing deals in Florida and North Carolina, and then we made another business decision to go nationwide. So we expected to be doing about 15 to 20 at this point, but just keeping it real, we're having struggles with this nationwide model where we'll bring a deal in, we didn't comp it the right way, or title issues or whatever. So we're averaging right now between 7 to 10, trying to get it figured out with comping, essentially.
7 to 10 deals a month or a year?
Yep. No, per month.
Oh, okay. So you're going to do like about 100 deals this year.
Yeah, for sure. And these are not JV deals. Like, we don't count, because we do a lot of JV deals. We help people sell deals. We're just talking about the deals that we do in house on our own, and that's just from a wholesale
direct
perspective. Not including the flips either, just wholesale.
How many flips and wholesales do you think you'll do this year, like combined, like all your deals combined?
Well, for sure, we'll do well over 100. So right now, when it comes to flipping, we've always had about 5 flips going on at a time. But we have made a conscious decision to say, hey, we don't want to flip anymore, or we don't want to flip a big project. So if it's not an in and out deal, we don't want to do it. So we have 4 flips active, and we're trying to get rid of them so we can just focus strictly on wholesale. Well, to answer your question, so far this year, I think we've done probably like 21 or 22 flips.
Okay. And I guess what made you guys change your model from doing 5 flips at a time to only wholesaling?
You a flipper, right?
You flip houses, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Contract. I mean, it's not even contract issues, but it's for us, especially here in South Florida. Dealing with the cities are horrible. Like you're going to wait 4 to 5 months just to get a permit approved. So that's one issue. Another issue is you budget and you say, hey, this project is only going to cost me 80. You know, you got cast iron pipes that come up. You have this issue come up. So that 80 turns into 100. So for us, we always, you know, thank God we've never lost money on the flip.
We are about to, though. But
we're about to lose money on our first flip. But we also understand that, excuse me, we also understand that in order for us to scale and grow the way that we want to, we want to be a little bit more dialed in on our numbers. When it comes to flipping, you know, we think we'll make 40,000 when we buy the house, but then when we finish it, it's 20 grand. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for us to even, to compensate our team for those deals as well. So we say, hey, if we could just focus strictly on wholesale, it'll make everything easier for us.
Will we stop flipping completely? In our minds, we say that, but for us, we know our job as the leaders of the organization is to make sure that people in our organization can make money. So we get a deal we can't dispo it, but we can still flip it, and it's a light rehab, then we will do it. But we're not trying to continue to flip We're not trying to continue to flip.
Interesting. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. So a lot of people don't ever talk about losing on deals, and you guys have closed over 400 transactions, and you're still about to lose on a deal. I'm losing on a deal right now. I think 2 or 3 deals right now. What went wrong on those deals? Why are you losing, and how could other people learn from that?
Great question. So this deal is a virtual flip. It's in Texas. I'll tell you, because I tell them all the time, I'll tell you step by step where we went wrong. Number one, the underwriting. So Texas is a non-disclosure state, meaning you can't get flips. I mean, you can't, unless you're a realtor in the state of Texas, they don't just automatically give you closed sales. So when we got the property under contract, we were assuming that we can close it for a higher amount than what we actually can sell. So that's one issue. Number two, we had issues getting into the house. So the seller wouldn't give us access. So we had access. One time we did an inspection report, and it was an inspection company that we've used one time. We wasn't able to get a contractor into the house. So the house needed way more work than what the inspection report showed. Number three, not having the right team. So we had to fire the contractor who we had that was in that part of town, and then we had to find somebody else. So with finding somebody else, all contractors hate cleaning up somebody else's mess. So he wants to start fresh. So obviously that adds additional cost to it.
Yeah. And I'm also losing on deals. So I usually hold like 10 to 15 flips at a time.
God bless your heart.
but because my business was dialed in. Like I'm flipping in a very specific area. I have my crews. I have MLS access. I'm a realtor. Like, it's like, dude, I'm like shooting fish in a barrel. And then appreciating market, like, dude, I could buy a house for 200, comps are 300, not touch it for 2 months. Now comps are 350. Like, I was just crushing it, right? And I was flipping houses before 2020, but I'm losing on deals because I went outside of my area went outside of my area, worked with a new contractor. Contractor took money. And now I'm starting over. My regular contractor, I have to pay extra to go out of the way. Yeah. You know what I mean? So even after, and I've closed, who knows, hundreds of deals already. Like even after all that, I still make stupid mistakes. Yeah. Second quick story. In 2020, I was like, all right, I want to do 50 flips. Like if I buy 7 to 8 houses a month, January through August, because I wanted to do them all in 2020. I was like, if I buy 7 to 8 flips a month, I'm a flip 50. I told my mentor, Ryan, at the time, Ryan Pineda, I was like, listen, I got a great idea. I'm going to start flipping cheap houses in Georgia, even though I live in California. Cheap houses in Georgia because I could buy more because they're cheap. And he was like, nah, like you don't have a team. You don't know the market. Just focus in Cali. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to do it anyways. And pretty much those same struggles, the long story short, I went through that so bad that I will never try to flip outside of my backyard again, because it's just not worth it. I rather go deep in my backyard where I could show up, be there, see what's going on, know the laws, know the comps, than just try to think, oh, if I go to Ohio, it's easier and it's cheaper. Let me try to do that. Nah, I don't think that's the move, to be honest.
So it all depends though. So I want to say this. So to this point, we've done about 21, 22 houses this year. So when we say flip, that's a house that we actually closed on. We got hard money or private money, and then we had to resell. All of those houses, we didn't go in there and do renovations or, knock walls down and do bathrooms. We've closed on them. Some houses we've painted and put it back on the market. Some houses we've just cleaned out and put it on the market. So that's included in what we flip. So in other markets, that's what we're willing to do deals like that, where we can just close on it,
Wholesale.
clean it up, and Wholesale. Thank you. So Wholesale.
Yeah.
That's all we want to. We're willing to do that, and we've done quite a few of those this year.
But in our local market, like you were saying, we try to keep at least 4 to 5 at all times. At least we were. Now that we said we want to focus specifically on wholesale, it's like we're not trying to keep any flips going unless we absolutely have to for the team to make money.
And I guess, like, how has the market shift affected your guys' business?
So from a wholesale perspective, it's more, we just have to be really cautious on how we lock up deals, because I run our dispo. So I'm constantly, through our dispo team, I'm constantly talking to them, and they're talking to the buyers, and the buyers are letting us know what needs, what they're looking for. So I come back to him and I say, hey, because he runs the acquisition and he trains our acquisitions. And I tell him that, hey, we have to get cheaper because buyers want to be cheaper. So the biggest shift that we've had to make is get deals locked up cheaper than what we have, 3 to 4 months ago.
Another shift another thing that has happened with this changing markets, we're starting to do a lot more novation deals. So we just started doing novations deals this year, because a lot of what we're seeing is a good amount of leads that we're getting, houses worth 4, 5, let's say 400,000. The seller owes 410, 415 on it. It doesn't need that much. Probably needs like 5 to 10,000 to get it market ready. So we've been doing not a good amount. We've done 8 novation deals this year, but I definitely know that we're going to see uptick as the market continues to shift the way that it's shifting.
And I guess, like, because of, you kind of answered it, but I don't know if there's anything else. Is there anything else like that you have changed for your next, like, 2 to 5 year plans now that the market has shifted?
Not really. The strategy is still the same. The goal is still the same for us. But we've just changed a little bit we've changed how we've operated. So at one point we thought we would always be flipping, because our flipping is dialed in. Like, we have a great system
in Miami. In South Florida.
It's
dialed in.
It's dialed in. Like, bro, we don't go to houses. Our contractors know what needs to get done. We were flipping and we were making things happen. But now, instead of saying, hey, we want to do 30, 40, 50 houses this year, we know we don't want to flip at all. So, that's changed in our plan, but we still definitely want to continue to wholesale, and we still definitely want to continue to buy rentals that make sense for us.
Another thing that has also happened in this market, which I want to touch on, is buying rental properties. So you buy a rental property and you think you're going to be able to do the BRRRR, and you have, this literally happened within the last 2 weeks. You have solid comps, and the appraisal still doesn't appraise the house of what it should be. Oh, those comps are 3-4 months old. Like, okay, I thought as an appraisal you had to take the last 6 months. Well, that doesn't work. Those comps are not working. So we've had 2 bad appraisals this year where it has affected our cash out refi on two of the cash outs that we've done. Now, I'm not saying that's all of it, but on those 2, like one that we're fighting with right now, you're talking about a difference of almost $50,000 in cash out value that we're fighting for with this appraisal, where we may have to switch the lender, because we're showing the lender a whole bunch. Like, yo, look, these are real comps. I don't understand what this appraiser is doing. So that's another thing that we've been seeing. We have to be careful how we're buying rentals when we say we're going to do the BRRRR method.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've been buying rentals for like 5 or 6 years now. Like that's always going to happen. But I mean, at this very moment with the comps changing in California, the median house has dropped like 2 to 3 months in a row now since they raised the interest rates. Wow. So, I mean, yeah, like at this very moment, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit harder for people who are trying to get BRRRR properties if the market continues to decline and appraisers are not going to give them the older comps. They're going to work with the new lower ones. So yeah.
And but another thing. Sorry, I said another thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish.
No, I was going to say another thing that has shifted is we have one of the things that we're doing on the acquisition side. We're actually sending data to sellers because sellers still think, oh, we're in this hot market. Oh, we're at the top of the market right now. I should be able to get X amount from a house. And we're showing them like, hey guys, I don't know if you saw, but there's been a 2,700% increase for people looking to sell a house to online companies. The appraisers are not coming back as high. Buyers are being priced out because the person that would have purchased your house, they don't want to purchase right now because interest rates have gone up. So we're actually sending that data to homeowners to actually help us to lock up some deals.
Interesting. So let's talk about rentals for a little bit. So a lot of people don't buy rentals. A lot of people, they're flipping, they're wholesaling, but when you ask them if they own any real estate, they don't. Why do you guys buy rentals? And I guess what's your focus moving forward with growing your rental portfolio?
I think it definitely is ever changing because when we first started, we don't want to own any properties with any investors, like go out and raise a fund or go out and do syndication. That's what it was when we first started. And we haven't done that yet. We've acquired our rental portfolio now just between us two. But now what's changing is our taste. So now that we have a decent sized portfolio, it's like, you know what, we do want to go bigger. We do want to be able to do more. So that's something that has been different for us.
The biggest thing that we're focused on is just positive cash flow. Like we've had a lot of opportunities to buy a lot of properties, but if it doesn't meet our criteria, we don't want to do it. So for us, in order for us to buy a rental property, we have to be able to net cash flow $400 a month. Thankfully, right now we're averaging closer to about $700-800 a month per door, and that's net cash flow after expenses, vacancies, debt service, and everything. We're putting that in our pocket. So we're just really focusing on, that's going to always be our long-term goal, focusing on buying properties that actually cash flow.
But in your benefit, the reason why we do it was because I remember the first year because when we had to clean the company, we wasn't making that much money. But our first year we did okay. We did like low six figures our first year in revenue, and we had to pay taxes on that. And our account was like, you owe this. I'm a kid from the hood, right? I ain't used to owing Uncle Sam. I'm used to Uncle Sam sending me money. So once he told us that, he was like, man, what can we do so this doesn't happen? He said, you guys need to start buying some real estate or you need to increase your expenses. But I would advise you not to increase your expenses, but to buy real estate. So that was after year one. Year two, we started flipping, and then we got another tax bill. It's like, man, we can't keep doing this. So year three, we just started buying more rentals, understanding the depreciation and cost saving and how that helps you out with your taxes. That's primarily why we're buying it, aside from just the monthly residual income. Because I'm not gonna say passive, because you own rental properties, it ain't passive, it's really residual. So
no. Yep. And I think it always interests me when I talk to some of these guys and they're like, yeah, I made $1 million this year. And I'm like, damn, how many rentals you own? None. Oh, okay. How much you pay in taxes? Oh, I paid like $10,000. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. yeah. I don't know how you made $1 million and where you came up with these hundreds of thousands of dollars of write-offs if you made $1 million. So that's usually how I could tell, like how many rentals do you own? Are you actually cost sagging?
Yeah.
And what are you paying at the end of the year? If you're paying nothing, but you own a bunch of properties, I'm like, that makes sense.
Gotcha.
If you're saying, I only pay $50K, but I made $1 million, I'm like, I don't know. Tax bill's about 38%. I don't know. Where's the rest of that money?
Uncle Sam will come knocking at their door soon.
Oh yeah, or they're just lying, or they're just taking like the gross revenue before all expenses, and they're saying they made that, but they really made 150, but you know what I mean, which is fine, but it is what it is, I guess. But since you guys are nationwide, and then we'll touch on the nationwide thing next. So since you guys are nationwide, what have you guys seen in the market change? Like, are you seeing like the same effects across the country, or are you seeing it worse in some places than others?
If you're listening to this podcast, then my guess is you're interested in real estate investing. Some of you are just starting out, while others are trying to scale their business to the next level. But the problem is, with so much information out there, most people don't know which program or coach to trust. Well, I'm a bit biased, but I believe my company, Future Flipper, can help you get to the next level. We've coached thousands of students from all over the world on how to build their real estate investing business. It doesn't matter whether you want to flip, wholesale, or buy rentals. Our coaching program has everything you need to become a great investor. There are many things that we include with coaching, but to give you a few examples, you're going to get an accountability coach. These are people that have had success in their own business, and they want to make sure that you achieve success in yours. We also have all of our documents, our systems, and processes that I've used to buy hundreds of homes. You can copy and paste them directly into your own business. And we have events where you get to meet me, top-level guest speakers, and other students who are crushing it. My students do deals with each other, and I personally do deals with them too. In fact, at a recent event, I just honored over 20 people in our program that made over $1 million in the last year. So if you want to grow your real estate business, head over to futureflipper.com and apply for a call with our team. The call is completely free, and they can help point you in the right direction whether you work with us or not. So go to futureflipper.com and book your call today.
Oh, for sure. We're seeing the change across the country where buyers are being more conservative. That's across the board. I don't care what market it is in, whether it's here in South Florida, whether it's in Cali, whether it's in, Maryland or wherever. So buyers are definitely being a little bit more conservative when they're buying. So we understand and we know that we have to lock up deals just a little bit cheaper so that we can still make a decent size spread on the deal.
I think one of the things I was talking to the team about this morning, I think we're missing out on deals because we're trying to be too cheap. But for us, one of the things that we are very conscious of as a company is that we're only sending out sellable deals. We're not trying to be one of these fly-by-night wholesale companies where you get a good deal here, and then you get 10 deals after that. Because one of the things that we realize, being buyers ourselves, if you send us two bad deals in a row as a wholesaler, I'm not opening your email, I'm not opening your text message anymore.
Yep.
So for us as a company, could we possibly be doing more deals? Yes, we possibly can, but we know, we understand that we're building a brand. And when our company that we send deals out under, once you see that, you better open that email and that text fast, because you know that somebody's going to take that. So that's something that we pride ourselves on.
That's interesting, because most wholesalers, they have the opposite approach where they're throwing crap at the wall and they just hoping it sticks. They don't care.
But and then again, those are the guys that's not going to be around long. So as you talk to your buyers and build relationships with your buyers, you start understanding, like, the reason our buyers love us is because we send them deals. We have buyers fighting over deals that we're sending to them because it's bread. I mean, there's money to be made on both ends. So we get, like he said, we get these emails from a lot of wholesalers, and a lot of them I just unsubscribe, or I don't even open up email because I know it's trash.
It's one guy, like he sends a text message like 3 a week, and it's just at the point where I'm trying to figure out how to block the number because it's just all crap. You're just trying everything. And I'm not against anybody that tries some deals here and there, but if your whole business is based off, let me try this one, you really ain't in business, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was gonna throw out some names to be like, is it this guy? But they're
we can talk about that.
Yeah, because there's some of those people here where you're just like, dude, or they call you with like, hey, if you build a second house on this lot, then it's like, bro, what are you talking about?
It's not even zoned for that. I can't even do that if I wanted to.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, if I did build another house on it, maybe, but why would I just go buy a lot, like, instead of like buying this house for market value? But what about, all right, let's go heavy into the nationwide thing. So what are the benefits of going nationwide, and what's the hard part about going nationwide?
Let's start off with the hard part. We've been doing nationwide for eight months now, and we're still learning how to comp nationwide. That's been something that's been very, very difficult to lock down in different markets. I'll give you a great example. In Miami, buyers are buying a cosmetic rehab, just pure cosmetic. They're buying it at 70% of value. In Charlotte, North Carolina, when we try to send out a deal like that, at 70%, oh, we need to be lower. So that's one thing that's a huge struggle is comping. And also with that struggle has come the morale of our team, because our team thinks they're getting a great deal. I got my acquisition guys coming to me, oh my God, this is an amazing deal. And I think, because I don't know any better, the numbers look right. You followed the formula, you followed everything that we asked you to do. Everything looks good. And then when we come back to them a week later, hey, listen, we can't sell this deal. We got to let it go. The morale is something that's like, that's something that's difficult. Every day is constantly coming in here and cheering these guys on to make sure that their spirits are high because of the changing of the market. I could definitely say that's the hardest part.
Another part is just the title companies. Finding title companies that are, that understand our model. So who are investor friendly, who understand wholesaling, who understand that, you should send the seller one HUD and the buyer one HUD. Like that's been somewhat of a headache for us as well. But the on the opposite,
our cost per lead, because we used to only do deals in Florida and North Carolina. Our cost per lead went from $470, because remember, we do only PPC.
So the pro of, now he's jumping into the pros of doing nationwide.
Our cost per lead went from $475 per lead to under $100. Right now, we're averaging $91, between $88 and $91 cost per lead with the same marketing spend. So our team is getting more at bats. They're getting more opportunities. So it's just on us to be able to convert those. That's definitely a pro. What else would you say is another benefit of going nationwide?
I mean, I think that's
another thing, because this is when he was trying to sell me on the idea of going nationwide, because like I had to sell him on PPC a few years ago. He had to sell me, and his sell was way harder. Oh, let's go nationwide. He had to sell me on this was the fact that if the market changes, so let's just say we was only doing deals in Florida. God forbid we get a hurricane or something happens in Florida, our business is screwed. It's going to take a hit. Now, what we've done, in hindsight is 2020, is we can do a deal anywhere in the United States. So if there's something happening on the East Coast, we can shut off the marketing because of PPC on the East Coast or on the West Coast and still be able to do business. That's been a huge thing for us that we look back and like, wow, this actually was a great decision, especially with the market starting to change and buyers' appetites are starting to change. So that's been a huge, something awesome for us.
That's actually like what's happened to me. Because of the market shift, like I said, I was doing 10 to 15 flips at a time. Flipping was always number one. And then Airbnb, and then wholesaling. Like whenever I got a house, I'm like, can I flip it? Yes. Boom. That's it. That's like number one. If I can't flip it, can I Airbnb it? Yes. All right. If I can't flip it, I can't Airbnb it, wholesale it. Well, now we don't have set ARVs yet, because the market is still kind of declining. Like we haven't seen the real comps yet, and people are lowering their prices. So I don't have set comps. So it's like, how am I going to go out and buy 10 to 15 homes when I don't know what the ARV is yet? I still have to wait to see, unless I just get a deal 50% of markets, then of course. But like how I was doing formula before, 70%, that doesn't work, because what comps am I using? Right. Especially when the comps are tough. Before you could bank on appreciation. Obviously now you're an idiot if you're going to bank on appreciation. So So that actually happened to me, where now I'm like, all right, this happened in my market. I could, if I was open in other markets, like I talked to Tiffany and Josh High, I talked to a bunch of people in other markets, and they're like, oh, we're just taking 5% off the ARVs. Where in Cali, it's like, dude, we just don't know. It's 10, 15. I have some houses where comps were 550. I'm listed at 415 and haven't sold yet. Yeah. So yeah, that's
it's crazy.
That's not all Cali.
No. It's crazy you say that because we did a deal in Rio Linda.
Oh,
we did in Rio Linda. We sold
Linda, California. Yeah,
we sold this property to this dude a couple months ago
in February. March.
And the house has been listed for
3 months now.
And we think it's listed at a great price.
I mean, it's a beautiful house. He did a great rehab on it, but he can't move it. Because I follow up with all our deals that we sell just to see what happened. And that I sent him the text message yesterday, and I'm like, "Yo, the guy still hasn't sold his house."
Yeah, and that's what it is, and that's what I'm saying. Like I have another one. Comps were 350. I'm at 315 right now. Not even a whisper, not even a showing.
But
so it's like, why would I go out and buy 15 houses with this going on? I can't do it. Yeah. So yeah.
But again, I appreciate you sharing that though, because a lot of people don't share the struggles. They don't share what really like most people say, yeah, I'm doing 100 deals a year and I'm making money. Well, what does that really look like? You know, you are taking losses on some flips. We are taking some losses on some deals. Yep. And I think you guys like you and I have to continue to share and let people know like, hey, real estate is great. It will change your life, but you may take some bumps and bruises along the road. You may, we have one house now that we're just trying to sell. We have, it's another flip that we're doing. We've been in it since January. Our typical flip usually takes us, 100. At last we counted, it was like 125 days to buy and to sell. Now we're averaging 5-6 months to finish these houses. So you understand our pain with flipping, and another reason why we want to just kind of step away from it is because we've been working on this house for so long, and the city just got back to us with another revision that they want. So it's going to be longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
but again, God bless your heart for flipping.
yeah. I mean, like, and this is high level, and most people aren't going to get this, right? Most people aren't going to get this, especially the beginners, and it's not their time to get it yet. But we had a call with Ryan yesterday, and he was like, sometimes something that used to work for you can become a liability. Ooh. What's the opposite of a liability?
Asset.
Okay. He said, I had a coaching call yesterday with Ryan, and he said, sometimes your assets can turn into liabilities. Sometimes things that used to be good, still the same, but now it just doesn't work. Yeah. And you have to be like, all right, like, I would be a fool to go out and buy 15 houses right now just off of ego, just because I'm like, man, I really wanted to hit my 50 deals this year, so I'm going to just keep buying. I could lose hundreds of thousands of dollars very quickly. So I have to let my ego go, say, all right, well, I'm Mr. Big Flipper, but I'm a pause. Yeah. I'm going to let things settle. I'm going to let the dust settle, and then I'm going to come back and ramp back up. But that's the reality of business. Sometimes you have to use the word pivot. A real business owner knows about pivoting. Yeah. An amateur or rookie, they think, oh, you just keep doing it and you keep wholesaling. No, sometimes in 2020 to 2022 early, right? In my opinion, you were a fool to not be flipping houses. If you were only wholesaling, you're a fool, because the appreciation was just like, dude, it's never going to get easier than what it was. It's never going to get easier.
The day you buy the house is worth $50,000 more.
It's like, why wholesale more deals instead of doing less deals, but just buy the house, sit on it, and it goes up like crazy. But now, in the next 2 years, I think it's not, you can't obviously bank on appreciation. You have to be like getting good deals, listing aggressively, whole rehabs, and staying away from, like, before, if I bought a house that's sitting in front of the freeway, it would still sell. Yeah. Right now, that same house, that house is not selling. Yeah. No matter the price, it's not going to sell.
Right. Well, And what's going to happen in the market is you're going to have to do a better rehab than you did in 2020. Because in 2020, I mean, I'm not going to say we were doing shitty rehab, but I will say that we had a system, and that system was working, and we didn't change that system for anything. But now we understand that we're going into a buyer's market, and you're going to have to do a beautiful house in order for you, just to get some offers on it.
And you said something that I want to touch on about pivoting. Mm-hmm. So this year, again, we started doing nationwide January. When we first started, we were bringing in 12 to 20 contracts a week, but we were marketing across the entire country. And what we realized was, yes, we're bringing in all these contracts, but we can't move a small portion of them because they are in the middle of nowhere. So what do? We pivoted, and then we changed our marketing. That was working for a while until it didn't work. And then just recently, literally a month ago, I think we found the winning formula to where we're targeting the top 250 counties across the nation. But we had to pivot 3 times in our marketing effort.
3 times in 8 months.
So if you guys are out there and you're struggling, you need to understand that pivoting is okay. Obviously, you need to pivot the right way. Like Brian is pivoted, we pivoted. So pivoting is okay.
Okay, let's talk about comping. How are you guys? How did you guys solve the comping problem?
We still haven't. We still have not. We're figuring it out day by day by day, and that really is the truth. We've hired a few coaches that know how to comp nationwide to come in and teach our team. So we've done like 8 to 10 paid sessions with different coaches that do this at a high level to come in and coach our team on comping. We've watched some videos, but primarily we're just hiring coaches, mentors to come in and
teach.
What
system are we using?
What system? Basically, we're using Zillow, PropStream, Batch, those 3 systems to comp. And you'll be surprised what Zillow can do. Yeah, you'll be surprised.
Zillow is
very powerful. If you know how to really work Zillow, it's very, very powerful to give you that information that you need.
Mm-hmm. And what about PropStream? Why PropStream?
PropStream is not it's not really a comping tool for us. It's more PropStream and Batch. It's not really a comping tool. It's more so a mechanism to make sure that we're not missing anything. So we're looking at it to make sure that the bed and baths are correct. The square footage is correct. Does it have a basement? Are these people the real owners? And then we'll also look to see if it has some comps there to try to find those comps on Zillows. But we're not actually using it as a comping tool. So thank you for making sure I clarify that. So we're primarily using Zillow to comp, and then Batch and PropStream as a backup to make sure that everything is somewhat good.
And what's your CTC percentage, your contract to close?
Still figuring that out, bro. Because remember, I said we was bringing in 12 to 20 contracts a week at one point. So it's changing it's just changing week by week. We actually hired a consultant 3 weeks ago to help us get that dialed in. So we don't have that since we've been nationwide.
Got it. Do you think it's like less than 50%?
No, I think now it's more than 50%.
When we first started, it was definitely under 50%.
It was probably less than 40%.
Because we was getting so many contracts. And so, and again, this is a struggle that we for us, we want to share it all and let people understand, everybody see on the internet don't got to figure it out. They may act like they do. So for us, like you said, when we was doing, let's call it 12 to 15 contracts a week, we didn't even have dispo. I was doing all the dispo myself. So we turned on this machine and we wasn't ready to have that machine run the way that it was supposed to. So we were getting these deals. I'm doing dispo myself as well as running the company. So a lot of the deals were falling by the wayside. One, because, I didn't have the support, or 2, it was just in the middle of nowhere and we didn't know how to dispo it. So that's why we made, those changes that we made.
But I can say, but I'm not going to sit here and say, we got this dialed in, it's nationwide. We are figuring it out day by day. I think we are in a really good place, though, a really, really good place, where our team is operating on the right level. We finally have marketing dialed in. The only thing that we got to get dialed in now is comping a lot better. But once we get that figured out, then we're off to the races and increasing the marketing budget and hiring more people.
What's your marketing budget right now?
Right now on PPC alone, we were spending in total, we were spending 32,000. But once we cut cold calling, we allocated some of that money to PPC. So right now on PPC, we're spending 25,000.
Dang, that's not that much for what you guys are doing.
Say that again.
That's not that much for how many deals you guys are doing.
No.
But you got to remember, though, our cost per lead went down, so we get more opportunities because we're nationwide. So the more opportunities, the more at bats you have, the more the more you have to hit that single, that double, or that triple. So for us, we're just by going nationwide and spending the same, we've seen the opportunities increase.
What like return do you guys aim for on that 25K?
Right now, we literally just did this with our CFO 3 weeks ago. We had a 3.75% return on that marketing spend. We definitely want to be over 4%. Okay. I mean 4x, but we're at 3.75.
Okay.
We literally
and then do you guys control the PPC yourself, or you hired a company?
Nah, bro. We have a model. Know what you're good at, make money on that, and then what you're not good at, hire it out. I'm not good at PPC. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, you need to learn it, et cetera, et cetera." For us, we know what we're good at. That's why I want to make my money and then pay it and then delegate out whatever I'm not good at. I understand at a high level because we've been doing it for so long. But as far as like really going in and set up the campaigns and all of that, no, somebody else does that.
And who have you been working with the same company the whole time?
Story time. So when we decided to go nationwide, we found a guy.
When we started
online, excuse me. We found a guy through a buddy of ours, and that guy, he was doing really well when he first started. And then if anybody is good in PPC, I think they have to understand the business because they have to understand the consumer and what they're going to be searching for. So in order for him to get good at PPC for real estate and generating the leads that we needed him to generate, I taught him the business. So a year in, we're cranking, doing deals, doing good. A year in, something started to get funny. So 1 month, no leads. Like, hold on, this ain't right. Something ain't right. We closing a couple deals a month. This month, no leads at all. Maybe it's an error. So we called it, hey, bro, what's happened? Oh, it's an error. Google changed. Next month, no leads again. like zero. No exaggeration. I'm like, bro, what's going on? Yeah, bro, I don't know. Then the third month, my brother said, listen, if we don't get leads this month, we're going to have to figure out another marketing solution, another solution for marketing, and we're not going to be doing PPC. We're not going to do PPC anymore. So I relayed that message to the guy, and then all of a sudden, the next day, we get leads. I'm like, okay, so things are back working. We get a call after 2 days after we started getting back started to get leads again. The seller says, hey man, I'm under contract. You know, it's something shady about this person. I'm not feeling good. Could you guys help me get out of the contract? I don't know if I can. Send it to me. Get the contract. I see the guy who was doing marketing for us. I see his company on the contract. You ever watch a movie? You be like, nah, that ain't true. That people be like, nah, that ain't happening. And you be like, idiot. It's right there in front of you. I was that idiot.
Yeah.
No, it's no way he could be. No, it's no way he could be doing this. So I go on our State Department where you can look up corporations who owns them. Boom. I see his name. I'm like, nah, this can't be right. I call the seller back. Hey man, listen. When is this guy coming back? Oh, he's going to be in 30 minutes. A buddy of ours went there, recorded the guy getting out the car, and we basically found out that he had been stealing our leads, which at the time equated to like $300,000 in lost business. And actual funds, and actual spending money, I think it was like $18,000 that we actually spent and then get in return. But it's actual deal flow, about $300,000.
So but to answer your question, we don't do it. So we fired that guy. Then we found somebody else, and he was subpar at it. And then we just found the guy who we've been using now for 8 months, or who's been using for about a year and a half now, right? A year and a half.
So what are some tips on if people are looking for like PPC companies?
I would say if you're a newbie, I would not advise somebody to do what we did and figure it out on the run. Because for the first 4 months of us doing PPC with this person, he understood PPC, but he didn't understand real estate. And I understood real estate. So for the first 3 to 4 months, we're figuring it out together. We're flushing money down the toilet trying to get this figured out. So I would definitely say you want to hire somebody who has experience in doing real estate PPC, not generating leads for online business. It's two totally different animals. So find somebody who has experience doing that. That's first and foremost. And I would also say ask how long they've been generating leads. What is their monthly spend? How long they've been doing PPC? So, but definitely, I would say definitely find somebody who's experienced, and unless you want to go through that 3 to 4 month period of helping them figure it out.
But what kind of answers are you looking for? What if they're like, yeah, I've done it. I work with some other guys. They were successful. It's going to cost $10,000 a month for PPC. And a 6 month contract. That's about average, right?
Well, some people, number one, I would try to negotiate and say that I don't want to sign a 6 month contract, because I think so often in this business, a lot of people preach cold calling and SMS. And when you do that, you typically get leads within your first week of marketing. With PPC, it may not be that. So first and foremost, before you start, you have to have a mindset shift to understand that this is not going to happen, where this is not going to be something where I spent $10,000 on a cold call or SMS campaign, and I get 100 leads in a month. This is going to be, I spent $10,000, and depending on what market you're in, you're probably looking at $400 cost per lead. 10,000 divided by 4 is how many leads you're going to get. So that's the first thing. It's a whole mindset shift before you even go hire somebody. But as far as interviewing somebody, I would say you definitely want somebody who's been generating leads at least with real estate people at least for a year. And then I would also, they should be comfortable, at least in my mind, giving you at least 2 or 3 references of who they're working with. And I would call those references and talk to them and see exactly what's going on.
What if they're like, oh, I don't want, these other people maybe sign an NDA and, they don't want to disclose who they are? As I've heard that before, and I'm sure people say that.
I don't even know how to answer, because we've never had that experience. Like I just knew where to look for somebody who does PPC. Right? But everybody that we've hired, the first person we learned it together. The second person, I had to train him on real estate, but he knew PPC. And then this next person, I had to train him on real estate as well. So everybody we've hired, these are not people that have been doing PPC in real estate. These are people that I've had somewhat of a relationship with, or they came highly recommended by somebody else. And that's why we decided to work with those people. And
do you allow them to work with other people that are in real estate?
The first 2 guys, no. This third guy, we are going to start. We are going to allow him to work with other people in real estate. But before he did that, and we had him sign something that he had to make sure that ours was dialed in before he went out and got any more customers. Because I understand now in business, when you focus, that's when you make money. So I need him to be focused on us before he tries to go out and get all these clients. I think that's something that happens with a lot of these PPC companies. They want to go out and get tons of clients, and they can't even fulfill what they have. So that's why I told him, you can only work with us until we get this dialed in. Then once we get it dialed in, we'll even help you go out and we'll help you get customers. And that's our deal with him.
I agree with that also. And then as far as like a PPC agreement, what I've seen is they'll say, hey, management is $5,000, and then you have a $5,000 minimum ad spend or whatever a month. Walk us through what these contracts should look like.
Definitely, you are going to have a management fee. What I've seen from management fees from other companies, again, I haven't dealt with a lot of like companies at that level where they're making us sign agreements. Most every agreement that we sign with a company, we come up with that agreement. But I did vet other companies. What I saw was you either there's a minimum management fee, either 15 to 20% of your budget or $2,500 per month, whichever is higher. And then you get to decide what the marketing spend is, but they give you a recommended spend so that you can get some type of traction. Most of them are going to say, you need to be locked in at least for 3 months. I've talked with some of the biggest companies in the industry. They all are willing to negotiate that clause. So don't make anybody feel like you have to sign and you have to stick with somebody for 3 months. The biggest thing that I would say, though, is that like how long you have to stay with somebody. You definitely want to negotiate that. I think 3 months is fair. And I would even say that you want to negotiate that. But I would say you want to at least stick with whoever you're with for at least 3 months. And that's really the only two topics. I mean, that's really the only two things that I can talk on, because those are the only points that I had when I was talking to other companies. Anything else, I would not be of value to people. So.
What about website? Like, is that PPC company creating your website, or you have your own website? They just do the PPC.
What I found, any real PPC company, they may allow you to keep your website, but they're going to create a website for you that they're going to run traffic to, or they're going to create multiple landing pages to run traffic to that. So if they are a real PPC company, from my experience, I could be dead wrong, but from my experience, they want to control the entire process, from the user interface to the design of the website, to the design of the landing page, because and for me, I would want them to create that. That way, if things are not going well with generating leads, they don't have that excuse of, well, I told you to sign up for a website, or you need a new website, because that has happened. When one of our guys, we were working with him, hey guys, the performance is not as good because I told you guys you need a website. So through that process, I've learned, moving forward, if I'm working with a company, I want you to control the entire process. So that way we remove all excuses that you have as to why you're not doing what you need to do for my company.
That's huge. This is really good.
Thank you.
Is there any other last parts you want to touch on the PPC before we get to the last topic? What do you guys think about Investor Carrot?
We've never used them. I know a lot of people. We know a lot of people that do use them, but for us, we just always kind of wanted to steer away from Investor Carrot. Nothing against them, but it's just we know we wanted somebody to be locked in and like he was saying, locked in and focused just on us, making sure that they're executing on.
I can tell you the last two, this company that we're working with now and the last company, they again, it's nothing against them, but they advise us not to do that, because the internet is looking for what's new. If you're using Carrot, everything is almost the same. The interface, the interface, everything is the same. It's a template. So he's advised us to not do that, and we've never used them. That's the only thing that I can say about them. But I think if you're a newbie starting out and you need a website, I think it's a great place to go to. But as far as from PPC, what I've been trained on, what I've been taught, they've advised us to not do that. Anybody that's doing that is not going to see the results that they need to see for PPC.
Interesting. Okay. So last topic I want to touch on is working with a partner, right? So I believe that having success with a partner, a wife, a husband, a brother, sister, cousin, it takes a certain type of mindset. It takes a certain type of skill set. It takes a certain type of ego. And a lot of the time it doesn't work out. Because of one of the reasons I just mentioned. How have you guys found working together difficult, and how have you, I guess, gone around those challenges?
So I can give you two perspectives. One, the positive about it is we are in alignment. So I think if you're in a partnership with somebody, you need to be in alignment with them, meaning, your goals, your visions all need to be the same or somewhat the same. And that has allowed us to work well together. That has allowed us to remove ego, because I understand what the vision is. We both understand what we're after. But for us, it's a little different because we're brothers. So
No, we're twin brothers.
Our arguments are like
it's different.
It's different. Call the police.
It's different, but I understand. This is my brother. This is my twin brother. I think for us, one of the things that we really started to excel when my brother said, ego was removed, and the best ideal one, not the most macho, but what is the best idea for the company? Because at one point we did have, this my idea. That once we removed that became better. Another thing that helped us as far as our partnership was when we set clear roles and responsibilities.
Yes.
As you heard him say, he runs Dispo, I run acquisitions. I don't agree with everything that he does on the Dispo side, or when he's managing our project manager. I don't agree with a lot of stuff, but I signed up in this partnership and says that this is what you're in charge of. So I think I heard this yesterday. You can disagree without being disagreeable. So we disagree a lot, but we're not disagreeable in it. And I think we also have a respect for one another that says that when we understand that he's trying to make as much money as possible, I'm trying to make as much money as possible. How do we do that? and we are so aligned. So
Yeah,
I don't know
so,
if I answered the question, but yeah.
Yeah, because what I've seen, because, I've coached a lot of people, is ego usually comes up, and it's not always about making the most money. It's like, oh, I want to do this because I think this is like going to be cool, and it's kind of be me, and, it's not putting the company first. And then second thing is like, I've talked to partners where I'm like, what do you do? Oh, I look for deals. What do you do? Oh, I look for deals too. And we have a third partner. What does he do? Oh, I look for deals also. And I'm like, and on top of that, I'm like, well, I could tell you're an introvert, so you're probably not good at finding deals. Yeah, you're right. Okay. And I know you are obviously the visionary because you're always talking over everyone and you have this big plan. Yeah, that's right. And you don't know anything about real estate and have no capital, so I don't even know why you're in this partnership. But you're looking for deals. And that's what it is, because they're like, hey, you know what? Let's just say I met you guys. Hey, we're boys. We're cool. We all want to get into real estate. Let's partner.
Yeah.
That's how most beginner mindsets work.
Yep. I would tell anybody, make sure that you have everything in black and white. This is my twin brother, and we still have everything in black and white, clearly outlined. So God forbid something happens. Hey, brother, I'll run acquisitions. This is my side of town. Go back to your side of town. But it helps, though. It helps us to grow and scale, because for the longest, we were our own roadblocks because it was ego. It was my idea. This is what we got to do. But when we remove that and we said, hey, what are we trying to accomplish? What is the vision that we've set for ourselves and for our family? So once we remove the ego and focus strictly on vision and focus strictly on what it is that we're trying to accomplish, that's when we started seeing, some real success.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I think this is a great podcast, and if people want to reach out to you, where do they find you, and where are you guys trying to do deals, and any last messages for the listeners?
The best way to get in contact with us is on Instagram. Our handle is Mathis Twins. That's MATHISTWINS. That's the best way to reach out to us. We do have us and our team. We respond to all the DMs. So if you guys send us a DM, we do respond to the DMs. We're doing deals across the entire nation. So send us all your deals. Like my brother said, we also help people sell their deals. That's not something that we really put out. If you know us, we'll help with that. But just letting you guys know if you need help selling your deals. And my last thing that I would tell people is, man, don't compare yourself. Don't look on Instagram and say, oh, Brian is doing this, I should be doing that. Ryan is doing this, I should be doing that. I think that's the quickest way to death in business. Run your own race, stick in your own lane, set your vision, and you go after what it is that you want, not what somebody else is doing.
My last thing is just, you are a product of your thoughts. So just be careful what you're thinking. And like my mentors have always taught us, audit your thoughts, because a man is what he thinks. So if you're thinking you're going to fail, you're going to fail. But if you're thinking you're going to win and you take the proper actions, you eventually will win.
100%.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you guys for listening, watching. If you're still here, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give this video a like. We appreciate you. We hope to see you guys at our event September 26th to the 28th in Las Vegas. This was the Future Flipper Podcast. We are out. Peace.
Peace, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.